Atiku is coming, no. Atiku is coming, no. Atiku is coming, no. Everybody, let me see outside. Everybody, be happy. Regardless of the frustration, regardless of the insecurity. Whether you're leaving quickly, Your Excellency, the Governor of Taraba State, former Governor of Cross River, quickly join. Please, take it easy. We need this picture. We need this picture.
Privileged to welcome everyone to this landmark event. Our sincere appreciation goes to the national chairman of our great party, Senator Yoche Ayi, for his support and encouragement to the youth wing of our great party. We must extend our gratitude to the national chairman for his role in mobilization of various support groups. I assure you, Mr. Chairman, that the youth are ready to repay this support with energy and commitment. The PDP New Generation is a support group under the office of the National Youth Leader, and also one of the most functional and performing groups. Upon my assumption to office in December 2021, the PDP New Generation extended a hand of fellowship to me, which I readily accepted for two reasons. I have been a keen observer of the activities of the group even before becoming the national youth leader of the People's Democratic Party. What inspired me especially was their commitment to the PDP cause even as an opposition party. It is public knowledge that opposition politics in Nigeria is not attractive politics. The commitment and the effort are well appreciated. In my first meeting with the group, I was particularly moved by the zeal and vibrancy of the Director General, Mr. Audu Mahmoud. However, what drew me closer to the group was the presence of one of my closest friend and brother, Idris Olawale, who has been my brother in the struggle for a very long time. I recall our journey to Port Harcourt in 2018 to attend the national convention of our great party. Together we endured the journey on the road, all in humble efforts towards the realization of our cause. I have known him as a very dogged, highly opinionated individual and disciple of our elder statesman Alhaji Sila Lamido. All this portrays the commitment of the members of the PDP New Generation to our common goal. For the last 2 months, we have embarked on the registration of support groups with one conviction, that is to register groups with grassroots foundation. This aligns fundamentally with my ideology as a conservative and grassroots politician. We are not interested in merely Abuja groups or Abuja politicians. This more than anything informs my commitment to the PDP New Generation because of our shared belief. Sometimes I refer to the PDP New Generation as my advanced team, because they are always available and ready to participate in our activities and events at their own cost. Politics is all about sacrifice. Anyone truly interested in the development of Nigeria must be ready to sacrifice and put his or personal interests aside. The present state of Nigeria is enough to give every one of us sleepless nights. At this rate, I cannot imagine the Nigeria we intend to live for our children. It is this same fear that drives and gives us motivation. We promise not to rest until the greatness of Nigeria is restored. For the first time in my life, the thought of traveling to my hometown comes with fear and worry. For someone who grew up amongst my people, I do not feel comfortable having to travel down with security escort. This is not how I was brought up. All of a sudden, it feels so distant. As a great admirer of President Shehu Shagari, his campaign slogan of "One Nation, One Destiny" is stuck in my head. However, I never in my wildest imagination did I foresee the present division, lack of unity, and aggressive agitation from different groups in Nigeria. I dream of a Nigeria where an individual from Abo Mbese local government of Imo can travel and comfortably earn his living in Paskari local government of Katsina State without fear of intimidation. Also, I dream of a Nigeria where an individual from Pataskum local government of Yobe can run his business in Ile-Ife local government of Osun State without fear of intimidation due to his ethnicity or religion. It is little wonder that United Nigeria is #1 item on the policy document of presidential candidate Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, because without unity, there cannot be development. According to General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, anyone with aspiration of becoming president in Nigeria should have a close friend and confidant in at least 65 to 70 of the 774 local government council in Nigeria. Today, only one man holds that distinction, and that is the unifier, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Various people in pursuit of their selfish agendas have sought to compare the late MKO Abiola to Mr. Agbado. In all honesty, I consider this to be a political sin. Chief MKO Abiola, just like Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, was a grassroots politician with close ties and kinship in every corner of Nigeria. He represented the average Nigeria. The late MKO Abiola practiced politics of inclusion, and that is why there still remains a house called Abiola House in Zaria. At this stage in our history, we cannot afford to hand over the mantle of leadership to someone whose only claim is that it is his turn, and that is why he consults with people to help him actualize his lifetime dream. Nigeria needs a man with plans and policies, not just entitlement. What Nigeria requires at this juncture is a president with business credentials, history of wealth, and business creation. These three sterling qualities, when employed to governance, automatically translate to job, economic, and prosperity. This, in turn, will have a positive impact on the security. I must also give special recognition to our vice presidential candidate and governor of Delta State, Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, for his belief in capacity of the youth. Upon my assumption in office, he duly convened the South-South Youth Summit, where I was able to meet and engage with my contemporaries. I must also commend the youth inclusivity in his government. Special recognition goes to my dear sister, Hawa Atiku, who is the chairperson of the PDP New Generation Strategic Committee, for her commitment towards actualizing the mandate of this group, which is to take the campaign down to the world level in every local government. My sincere appreciation to the members of the Strategic Committee for their commitment and dedication to the cause. Your Excellencies, be rest assured that by this time campaign kicks off, there will be a clear distinction between online campaign and the actual campaign. Personally, I prefer direct communication with the electorate, majority of whom are not on social media. With your support and humble effort, we will come together to rescue and rebuild Nigeria. I must thank the dignitaries for sparing their time to honor and engage the youth. The late General Shehu Eradu said, and I quote, "Public service is service to God, and you serve God by serving the people." To the PDP New Generation, you are serving God through promoting the party and bringing solutions to Nigeria. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. God
has disappeared to Liberia or somewhere else, so we have only these leaders who are going to lead us. Let me also recognize my brother, the governor of Taraba State, and other dignitaries here, particularly my leader, as I call him, the national youth leader. Anytime he walks into my office, I have to stand up. Because, as you have heard from him, he's truly a leader. And we have so many youth who are leaders. My comments will be very brief. Children also need their parents. Whatever you are as a young person, you need the guidance of your parents. And there are two types of parents. There are those who eat everything, live a reckless life, and only live alone for their children. Those of my generation will remember an American musical group called The Temptations. And The Temptations sang a song, Papa Was a Rolling Stone. And the young man in this song asked his mother, that what did my father leave behind? And the mother replied, when he died, he only left alone. In other words, the children have to pay that loan. Today, we have seen that type of parent in Nigeria, who rather than leave something tangible for you, the younger generation, is only leaving loans for you to come and pay. And in fact, even as I speak today, we cannot pay those loans. The second type of parent is that which wants to create wealth, to create a conducive environment for his children to build on. And again, in the recent political history of our country, we have seen such a parent. And that parent was the PDP administration between 1998 and 2015. Particularly under the leadership of President Olusegun Obasanjo, and where the economy was ably guided by the All-Father sitting here, Atiku Abubakar. He made it possible for Nigeria to pay all its debts. We paid off all the Parental debts, and then whatever was left was written off. So over $30 billion went away, and we were virtually debt-free. In other words, whatever revenue came in after that, we are going to build a future for you, the younger generation. This is what Atiku Abubakar did when he was the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I say this because there are those who say, oh, my friend and brother is too old, we should hand over to the youth. But the youth need a father to guide them. And I believe this particular father will take over next year and guide you to prosperity. So many things were said here, but one was missing. That is, if you have your child, train the child. The daughter came here and spoke, and somebody commented, I wish I had a daughter like that. It's because my brother and friend Atiku Abubakar lays a lot of emphasis on education. He trains his children very well. There was a time we visited Yola. He took me into his nursery school, primary school, secondary school, and we went to the university, which he had just started building at that time. That university is today one of the best in Africa. And I understand it has produced over 15,000 young people with necessary skills to face the future. a good father will lay emphasis on education. As Vice President, he and I sat together and involved a policy for the northern part of the country to drive forward education. We met regularly in Kaduna under his chairmanship, and we were trying to make sure that there was greater improvement in education in the northern part of the country. It is that lack of education and adequate skill preparation that has generated the insecurity you see here today. I believe when he comes back, he will revisit that program of massive education for the country. He will not sit down and see children stay at home for 6 months and more when ASU is on strike. Nigeria is rich enough to invest in its education. It's rich enough to give enough money to the universities. Any parent who sits down and simply watches what is happening, the children are staying at home, ASU is on strike for 6 months, nothing is done, I don't think that is a responsible parent. I believe Atiku Abubakar will be a different type of parent to you. And therefore, it is not just enough to hand over to the youth. We have seen young people who have served as governors of their states, who rather than grow the states have been disasters to those states. I believe what you need is a parent of this capacity who will help to guide the youth. And the youth that we need to be leaders of tomorrow. It's not every youth that is a leader of tomorrow. Again, you classify youth into two. There are those irresponsible youths who are taking tramor, who are taking Indian hemp, who are carrying out kidnapping, who are carrying out all sorts of vices that are detrimental to the interests of this country. And there are those youth who are trained for the future. There are those youth who are trained and responsible and know that they have to learn from their parents. I believe this particular organization is made up of such youths who tomorrow, when we step down from the podium, will take over the mantle of leadership. I thank you and I congratulate you for this giant effort. Do not relent in the rescue effort, because it is I'm very certain that come May next year, you will have a brand new team led by President Atiku Abubakar. Thank you and God bless you.
Our youths and our women are deeply traumatized. The things that hold us together appears to give way, and the very foundation of our collective existence is threatened. We are gathered here today in search of a solution, and most probably to be a part of the pathway in rediscovering the Nigeria of our dream. I welcome you to this journey of rebirth. As youths, you have a critical role to play. We are all stakeholders. In troubled times, such as we experience today, we need the guidance of those who have been tested, men with a nationalistic personnel, who will be inclusive, have respect for our diversity, and see the need to unite us for the greater strength of our nation. He who will provide leadership to unite and not to divide, to secure and not to destroy us, and to prosper our people yet again. We search for a leader who will from day one begin the process of rebuilding the foundation of our fractured economy, create jobs and wealth for our youths, build back confidence in the private sector, re-engineer our agriculture, and support our micro, small, and medium enterprises. We need someone who will support and reform our educational system for greater productivity. We search for that leader who will partner with the states, devolving powers and resources to subnational governments for greater impact in nation building and development. He who will help our youths to find their pathway. That is the leader that we seek for. I have found one among the lot who is determined to provide this leadership. He is Atiku Abubakar. He stands tall among them all, ready to refocus our trust and guide our nation once again on the pathway of prosperity. Leadership is not butter and bread. Some think it is so, but it is not. In the times we are, the nation cannot afford men who would learn on the job. We need men who will command respect nationally and yet be humble enough to build a team and respect their views. I congratulate the PDP new generation and its National Strategic Committee on the official launch of Operation Rescue Nigerian projects. We all in AA's team, as is fondly called, believe in one nation, our nation Nigeria, and we believe in Atiku for all. Together, and truly together, as youths under AA's guidance, we can fix a nation and rebuild the Nigeria of our dream. Let us rise up and build yet again. I congratulate you all. God bless you.
To welcome the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, MA, GCON to GCFR, inshallah. Thank you and God bless you. You may take your seats.
I come to this center, I always have a feeling of nostalgia, a feeling of what this center stands for. In the era of the military rulership in this country, around mid-80s, the late Shehu Yaradua invited many of us, maybe about 19, 20, 25. There were 19 states. He picked a young man from every state of the country. Of course, I was one of those young men. And said to us, I want you to come along with me to fight the military and restore democracy in this country. The journey may be long, it may be rough. Some of us may live to see the return of democracy, some of us may not live to see. And he was one of those who never lived to see the return of democracy, and he made a supreme sacrifice of his life. Those of us who believed in the struggle continued. Here we are today with over 20 years of continued democracy. So anytime I step into this center, which I single-handedly borrowed from the United States, from the Martin Luther King Center, and said, what would I do to remember this man who made supreme sacrifice and who also made our lives possible? And with friends, we came together to build this center. So anytime I walk into this center, one of the major political philosophies he taught us was that we should break away at that time from our regional and build bridges across this country between north and south, east and west, so that we can have a united Nigeria. And that was why when we were building this center, we also built an incomplete bridge outside. Those of you who don't know the meaning of that uncompleted bridge. This is because he started building a bridge of unity across this country, and he didn't complete it. Those of us who live long enough continued with that, and I hope the young generation of PDP will continue building those bridges until we achieve unity in our country. I listened to the speech of the Deputy Governor designate from Cross River. And one of the issues she raised in that speech was the issue of women and their state of origin if they marry across their states. Well, only one of my wives is from my state. But I remember during one of the transitions of President Babangida, because Babangida had many transitions, he will promulgate a decree for one transition. When we go midway, he will revoke the decree and collapse the entire transition. But there is one very, very important provision in one of the transition decrees. And that was the issue of citizenship. And in that decree, he made it eligible for any Nigerian. If you have lived in a place for a minimum of 3 years and you pay their tax, you are eligible to contest in that state. A noble provision who would have brought about integration and unity in this country. But of course, it's typical of Babangida, when we went halfway, he disbanded. And those of us, I don't know how many of us were here, participated in the 1994-95 Constitutional Conference. When we brought the issue, we said, okay, let us put it in our constitution. Oh my God. There was horrible uproar. Total rejection that people didn't want. And of course, it was a constitutional conference. Elected delegates. Some of us believed in that provision. But unfortunately, we were in the minority, and the provision was rejected. Madam Deputy Governor, I hope we will have the opportunity to review our constitution again, which I believe I will lead that if I become president. I hope some of these powers and resources we are going to devolve to the states, we will make it possible for people who live outside their states, not necessarily who marry outside the states, but people, and all Nigerians, I mean, we all live outside our various states of origin or of birth. And that is actually one of the provisions that is available in the United States Constitution. You don't have to. I think their own is maybe 6 months, 1 year, and then you become a citizen of that state. You can run for elections, do 2 years. So I thought members of the new generation of PDP, this is an issue you can put on the front banner as you continue with your political awareness and then campaigns, because we will definitely come to a situation where we will review our constitution. Let me congratulate you for putting together this new generation body of our party. But what I want you to understand is that politics is a career. In fact, I started mine before I even left the university. So in the university, I was a student politician. I contested all the elections, 1 year, 1 year, 2 years, and that's why I think I came out with a lower grade, because every time I was running for an elective office in the Students' Union, I started from, I contested for secretary, I lost to somebody, then contested for assistant secretary, I won, and then from there on, until I left. And therefore continued after I left the civil service. It is a career. Don't get disappointed. Don't get frustrated because you lose an election one time or second time or even third time. On the presidency, this is my third time on the ballot, and on other occasions I never even reached the ballot. So it is a career. It requires perseverance, it requires patience, and I thought I should let you know this if you want to make a career out of it. If not, then if you try once and you feel you can't handle it, move on to another aspect of your life. Again, there is no monopoly of good governance, whether you are young or old. There is no monopoly. You cannot say only young leaders can be good leaders. We have seen young leaders who have failed in leadership. You can't say, like the chairman has said, only old people can be good leaders, because we have seen elderly people who have failed woefully. We are going through one. So, I think it is a matter of training If you are very well trained, like the chairman said, yes, I admit I have trained all my children. I have trained them, and I have a pattern of behavior which I insist from each and every one of them, or you face discipline. So it all depends on the kind of training you give to your children. And I have, yes, I'm an only child of my parents. Today I have more than 20 of my children. And I make sure they are all very well trained. Nobody is allowed to misbehave. Of course, if you misbehave, you are dealt with. So it is the training that you receive that determines the leadership that you can give to others and to the society. So it is not, good leadership is not the monopoly of the old and is not the monopoly of the young. We must bear this in mind. So let me not take too much of your time. I'm a politician, maybe I may be talking and talking. So I want to congratulate you, new generation, for this wonderful initiative. And I hope that you will be very, very determined in achieving the objectives of this new generation. As you know, our current electoral process is being devolved to the polling unit. We don't want you in Abuja. We don't want you even in your state. We want you in your polling unit, polling booth. Go and deliver it to us. Protect the votes there and deliver it to us there. So, as far as PDP is concerned, we are going to unveil a campaign structure that is more emphasis on the polling unit. We are not going to have an unwieldy campaign council, and we are not going to be engaged in the jamboree campaign that they used to do. We are going to put emphasis at the polling unit. I want you to take note of that. Don't hang around in Abuja, establishing and creating so many support groups, running between my campaign office and my house and PDP headquarters, and think you are doing any good thing to the party or even to yourself. Go back to your unit. Deliver it. So, new generation, congratulations on a wonderful job, and I wish you every success. If you need consultancy, the party chairman is here. He will give you all the consultancy you need. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the next President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar. Thank you so much, the new generation, for coming. We appreciate you. You can check out the unfinished bridge and then read about it.
His Excellency has told members of the new generation group to go to the polling unit.
Yes.
Tell us how you will be carrying out this mandate, particularly for the purpose of delivering this presidential ticket in 2023.
Well, if you heard my speech earlier, you would hear that we already have structures in all the 774 local government councils. We already have coordinators and we have members there. So we are going to station our members in polling units. It's very simple. We have their data. As you listened to my vice chairman, he said data and science, right, win elections. We have the data, we have the science. We are going out there. We are not sitting in Abuja. We are not Abuja politicians. We're grassroots politicians. Okay. And that's exactly where we're going to.
Okay. Is there a way you monitor this to ensure that it's not just...
yes, usual? Absolutely. Yes. We have... I will not tell you all my secrets.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. But yes, we will monitor them keenly. We already have situation rooms in all of the states in Nigeria as we're talking now. So,
thank you so
much. Thank you very much.